Tension is escalating in Minneapolis this week after the shooting death of a young black man by police. Hundreds of people blocked a major highway last night to protest Jamar Clark's death. After refusing to leave the road, dozens of them were arrested. Crimesider's Graham Cates is here to talk about it. Graham, first explain what happened to Jamar Clark.
Just after midnight on Sunday, police in Minneapolis were called to a scene of where there was supposed to be supposedly an assault. And when they got there, they say that a man was interfering with EMTs who were treating a victim. What happened from there is kind of where you start to see two sides of the story. Police say that this man, who the family has identified as Jamar Clark, struggled with them and that a shot was fired and it hit him. What his family is saying and what witnesses are saying is that he was actually already handcuffed and that he was shot above his left eye. He died yesterday in the hospital.
How would the family know that?
Witnesses are telling them that, according to the family again. Police actually haven't verified where he was shot, but again, here are these two sides of the story. And the police weren't wearing body cameras, but they won't verify if there were cameras in the squad car or nearby surveillance cameras. And one of the things that these protests are about is for the release of that video to kind of clarify this situation.
So, Graham, in your reporting, you've discovered that the Justice Department is actually already looking into the Minneapolis Police Department because there have not been good relations between members of the community and that PD.
Yeah, there have actually been a series of pretty similar incidents to this, and protests, although not protests quite this large. It's kind of built up in a crescendo over several years. And Minneapolis is one of 6 cities chosen earlier this year by the Justice Department specifically to work on police-community relations. It's a pilot program that they're testing at in cities across the country, but 6 specifically that have had problems like this in the past.
And now the mayor of Minneapolis has called for a federal civil rights investigation into Jamar Clark's death. Explain the significance of that.
Yeah, there are going to be 2 independent investigations, one by state authorities and one by federal authorities. And in this case, I mean, the mayor of Minneapolis acted quickly on this, saying within 2 days, we want the federal authorities in. And they're saying this is proof that we're taking it seriously. But it's worth noting, and this is what the protesters are arguing, you might have acted quickly about calling in the federal authorities, but they're also looking for quick release of information so that there's more clarity about what's going to happen and what's going to happen with these police officers if indeed they did go against their code.
So what we know right now is that one young African-American man is dead, but we don't know who fired the shot. In other words, which of the police officers that were responding to that emergency situation fired that shot. They weren't wearing body cameras. And so how does this play out going forward?
There are going to be continued protests. There are a couple hundred people camped out at the 4th precinct in Minneapolis, and they have no intentions of leaving. We're talking actually in tents camped out. And they've said they're going to return to this highway where they had a protest yesterday, where they blocked traffic. And over 50 people were arrested. And they're saying they're willing again. They're not planning on getting arrested, but they're willing to until more of their demands are met.
All right. Graham Cates, thank you very much. Crimesider, appreciate it. You can track these investigations and read up on the big crime stories of the day at cbsnews.com/Crimesider.